destined for greatness. My name is written in stars, and I will give everything, all that I have to the cause. Fight against evil, run through the pain, battle it all, this is more than a game. I am a lion and I can't be tamed, it's how it was made, there's ice in my veins, run through it all. No matter the odds, I will answer the call, the enemy knocks on the door. Even the greatest among us will fall, but the greatest will get back up. So I won't back down, and I won't give up, and I will act now, and I will stand up. They know that I'm here for it all. Rise up, no matter what's in my way. Rise up, I will do what it takes. I will keep on fighting, I'll rise through it all. Rise up, no matter what's in my way. Rise up, I will do what it takes. I will keep on fighting, I'll rise through it all. Rise up.
No matter what it is you need, you'll find it at your local Par-Mar store. From gas to groceries, snacks, and everything else you always seem to run out of, Par-Mar stores has it. Need more savings? Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. You won't only see our stores in your neighborhoods, you'll see us in your neighborhoods too. We are proud to be in your town and proud to be a part of the community. Come see us at Par-Mar stores, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Wilson Martino Dental. Did you know that 95% of our dentists have graduated from WVU? And many former players and WVU coaches trust Wilson Martino Dental with their oral health. The Mountaineers and Wilson Martino Dental. Yeah, we do that.
And yeah, we do that. You can see Jay West right there just popping right on up. And we are so glad for the second time, Jared West coming in live from down there in Clarksburg, I believe. And Tim Kearney's down there in Virginia. And of course, DC, we have Daryl Prue. Gentlemen, Daryl Prue, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I didn't know he was in Clarksburg, Jerry. I didn't know where Notre Dame High School was. So I rode through there like 2 times in my whole life. And I like it there. I like the little scenery there.
Nice little town, small town. 30 minutes away from Morgantown. So it's a nice little family, little atmosphere. So
yeah, it sure is. And what I love about it is pepperoni rolls, baby. And that's where it comes from. And bam, not from Buffalo. I like these. If you notice the Buffalo Bills, just swagging their gear today because we got a big weekend coming up against the Dolphins. So ready to roll, ready to fire up. Tim Kearney, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you brought up pepperoni rolls because I need to make a trip up there and get some.
Absolutely.
Am I the only one that never had one?
You never had a pepperoni roll?
You never had one, Daryl?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Am I the only one?
And
you know what, man?
You call yourself a Mountaineer?
No, because I remember this. I forgot his name. It was a guy that used to be with one of Captain's friends. He used to talk like this. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Prue? How you doing? And he had I went over his house, and all he fed me was corn. He grew corn in his backyard, and he gave me corn. I can't remember his name. I'm sure, Tim, you might know. You definitely know who he is. I just can't remember his name right now. I
probably do, because I used to go to Buddy's Hot Dogs down there on Beechhurst all the time. Before it burned down. But, those are the good old days.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Fellas, let me tell you this, man. There's an elephant in the room, and it's not me, and it's not the Buffalo Bills, but had a day that a lot of things came out crazy. With Larry Harrison being released, we don't know. Here's Bob Huggins with his statement.
The decision to make a change within our basketball staff was a difficult one. Larry and I worked together for 24 years and shared many great moments. The decision was made in best interest of Mountaineer basketball. I'm not going to take any questions on the matter, and we'll now move on to your questions about the upcoming Oklahoma game.
Yeah, DP, I'm going to go to you first here. I'm going to just say this. We had guys react to that. Larry was coaching the night before against Baylor. The next day, he's in his office. Apparently, he hasn't really even talked to Hugs about it. But, guys like Taz Sherman, ain't no way, Gabe Oshaboy, unjustifiable. Kedrian on the team Johnson, he miss you the most, saying he's going to miss you the most. Joe Toussaint just put out a sad face. Obviously, Larry recruited a lot of these guys. He's done it to the history. 24 years, man, with Bob Huggins. What are you thinking, bro?
I would have liked to go last, but since I'm first, I think it's a lot. It's a lot. One, a man loses out on his livelihood. You're talking about, getting rid of somebody that's all they've done all their life is coach basketball, and you get rid of them. I don't know if people know my situation from coaching high school. My livelihood has been taken away. You know what I mean? So when your livelihood is taken away, you lose a little bit of yourself. This is not even talking about everybody else yet. He was in there the next morning trying to figure out how to win a game. He's still in there working. He's probably one of the first ones in there, working to try to, to figure things out. It's just not you showing up for practice. And then, it affects the kids. Just like when I left my high school team last year, it affects the kids. It takes something away from them. Like Kedron, and like the other guys who might respond, who might be scared to respond. You know what I mean? But like it takes away. It's more than a game. You got to I play a game today early in the morning. It's a 12 o'clock game. It's not an easy thing to do with 2 days of negative. Oh, my coach got fired. My mentor got fired. Somebody I go to get fired. It's more than basketball. This is someone's livelihood, and I think you don't have time to digest it right now and then play a game. It's an away game at that. It's going to be very difficult for them young men to get up for the game.
Very difficult to focus. All right, well, go ahead, Jay West. Let's hear your thoughts on it quickly.
I agree with Prue. The first thing I'm going to say is, if Larry, which I don't think this happened, if Larry did something that we don't know that hadn't come out yet, and he was fired for that, that's out of everybody else's control. If it's just purely from a basketball situation, 0-4, they wanted to make a change, I think that's total BS. Like, you got a man who's been there for 24 years, and if we're trying to throw him under the bus to make it seem like he's the reason why we're struggling, that's terrible. I'm totally against that. Once again, if he did something that hadn't come out yet, which I don't think so, because he's a man of character, if that decision was made, nobody can say anything about it. If it's purely basketball, I don't like if someone's going down, we're all going down. You can't just throw one person under the bus and make it seem like he was the one, especially when, as we all know, he had a lot of power. Larry basically ran practice. I know he ran substitutions, which from what I've learned in the last 2 days, he was not doing the substitutions the last 2 games. So that's another thing you can throw into the deck of cards. So I don't like it from a player. If Mel Hankinson would have got fired my senior year, we would not have gone to the Sweet 16. If Drew Catlett would have got fired my Sweet 16 year, you can't do that in the middle of a season. I don't think it's fair. If you want to get rid of the guy, let him finish out this year and get rid of him. I'm totally against it. And now you're going to really see if I have some true leaders on that team, whether it be coaches or players, because like Prue said, 0-4 today. If they lose today, you think we got problems. If they lose today, they're gonna have real problems, because now you got to see who your real leaders are, because this thing can really blow up in our faces.
Yeah, Tim, that brings into my mind is, now that West Virginia is a public university, and do you think that the public should have the opportunity to know about what went down, the reasons why Larry Harrison was relieved of his duties?
Well, right now, I do agree with Daryl and Jared as well. I mean, as far as how this whole thing was handled, it's all speculation. No one knows why he was let go, and I know that a lot of players were very close to Larry. I mean, he was, and I've met him before, and I've talked to him before, and I don't understand why this happened. And like I said, we got to wait to find out. But like Jared and also Daryl said, to fire a coach. I mean, we're on the bench together. I mean, we're all, all the coaches and everything else. You take a coach out of the middle of the season like this, with no description as to why. That kind of kills morale.
Yeah. Well,
Kills
how about
trust.
this? How
Can I
about
say one
this?
thing? Can I say
Yeah,
one thing?
I'm bringing you on next, buddy. All right. So, but listen, how does that talk about kill morale? This is 24 years this guy's been there in this
I
program.
understand. No, I agree. Yeah.
He's been in this program 15 years. They went to a Final Four. That's one thing. But like Huggy was reading the script. He was looking at a script.
Yeah, you can tell.
And then he goes on his show and said it wasn't him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that ain't
that's you know what I mean? Like that's another thing. Like, and it's more than basketball. Like you watch the guys respond, who the older players, he helped me do this, he helped me do this. Even my coaching staff in high school, when I got the job at the high school in T.C. Williams, now Alexander City High School, he called me and asked me to hire Tyrone Sally, another alumni, and I did, which was a great hire for me. But that's the things, that's all the stuff that people don't know about. You know what I mean? And to do it now, you know what I mean? Like after the season, everybody can debrief and all that stuff, but to do it like this, you know what I mean? It's just, like everybody said, the morale.
Well, let me say this: working in athletics for the past 15 years that I have at WVU, something isn't adding up. Everything, the sum of the equation is not there, man. It's not. Right. It's not 2 + 2 = 4. It's not. It's either.
As I said, Dale, prior to us getting on this podcast right now, it's based on speculation. We don't know what happened. I don't know if
how about this
or whatever.
But how about this? We ask him, like you said, as a public institution. But how about Larry don't even know? If Larry doesn't know, we're not going to know, and the public's going to know. You know what I mean? Like that, and that's the sad part. Like if Larry doesn't know why he got fired, and this is a surprise to him. So like what? We're not going to get an answer. That's the thing. We're not. We're going to get all these different speculations. They're going to change the narrative every time. And, we're never not going to get to it unless someone tells Larry why. And then maybe Larry might tell some of us or maybe not. But, we're not going to never get it until Larry gets it first.
Yeah, well Dale said it very well. I mean, it was a scripted thing that Hugs read on air. And it just, I think he was told that's how it's supposed to go.
No matter how you bring this down, no matter how you bring it down, it's not good. No. It's not. No matter how you want to look at this, you can't even cheat today, guys. If I want to go ahead and get a kid's mom a house, I can go do that. Okay, it would be very hard. So how you screwed up, whatever, we know he's a man of character. He doesn't know how's this going down like this. That's not right. This is a public university. This is a public institution. That's a public athletic department. I worked there for 15 years. You can FOIA their phone records. You can see. I mean, what I'm saying is, if you're not going to get the answers, someone's got to get the answers.
How about this?
It has to come out.
How about this? We have college coaches on HBO cheating before they change the rules, and nothing happened to them.
Yep.
Nothing happened to them. Nothing happened to them. And, we're saying this and saying that, and all this stuff is coming around, this and that. I don't care where it came from, but, it's, he didn't do anything. Just to say you're shaking things up, I get it. You shake things up after the season. You know what I mean? There was no shakeup. There was no shakeup. It was 12-2. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like everything was fine, and all of a sudden you lose a couple games, and all the games are tight.
Yeah. No, they're real tight too.
Yeah.
And I just saw a post from I believe it was Steve. He posted something there. How can you fire somebody? You're one of your best friends after 24 years being with them.
But
I don't know. It's all speculation, Daryl.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's speculation. And before we say anything that we don't want to say or don't mean to say, or we let emotion get ahead, we'll just go ahead and move on to one more subject that I think needs to be addressed. And Daryl, you brought this out. Prue, man. And go ahead. You brought it out. So Jalen Bridges, some family back here at WVU. Jay West, you grew up with this whole family. You know this whole family. Jalen Bridges, you said you were changing his diapers, man, at one time in his life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how close you guys were. And watching him grow up, was he treated poorly, Daryl Prue? Or was he fair? Was it all's fair in love and war?
No, you don't do a kid like that. You mean, like, West Virginia has a big problem when people leave. You know what I mean? Like, and go, have success somewhere else. Like, at the end of the day, if the kid leaves, he leaves. I don't think he wanted to leave, honestly. You know what I mean? So now when you do that, that's a kid. It's still a kid. I remember I got flack for coaching at Georgetown, but I applied for West Virginia first, and Beeline turned me down. So you can't get mad at me for coaching at Georgetown, and we having success because I came here first at West Virginia. Mm-hmm. So the kid was here. Whatever happened didn't work out. Sometimes we say too much. But he's a kid when we leave. It didn't work out. I'm going somewhere else. Now he having some success, and people don't like it. The cursing and the stuff like that. Be creative. Be like them Duke students. They do stuff, man. They, be funny and have some things, but don't attack a kid's character. And it's not right.
All right. Well,
I didn't.
Jay West, go ahead.
I didn't know you applied to West Virginia because I was pissed off when you took the Georgetown job because I don't like Georgetown.
Well, we're still not big Georgetown guys. Go ahead, Jay West. Go ahead.
I mean, like I said, listen, myself, Jalen, the Oliverio family, Big CJ, Corey, his dad, I've known that family for 20 years. And so I talked to Jalen 2 weeks ago. He's going through a little shooting slump, and we talked, and, he's a great kid, great family. I'll say all that to say, listen, I don't put too much stock in it. That's home fans being home fans. Listen, the things I've heard on the road, when in the Big East, they're doing what they're supposed to do to try to get under people's skin so that their home team. If I'm the parent of the kid, I tell them, listen, you left here, so guess what? You got to get some tough skin and deal with it and move on. But I don't take too much stock in it. I mean, you hear Luka Doncic, you suck Luka, LeBron. It's just part of what fans do. So I don't buy too much stock into it.
I got a story.
I'm happy for him because he came. I'm happy for him because he came. He played hard. He did what he was supposed to do. He got the win. So, from the standpoint of trying to control fans to say what, I don't put too much stock in. We played Khalid El-Amin, and they called that kid so much. I mean, I felt bad. On Big Monday, Dick Vitale was here. I mean, they called him a fat piece. So you know what? I mean, I felt kind of bad.
He gave you 30.
Yeah. But on the other end, when we went on the road, I got cussed out and called a midget. So I mean, it's just part of it. I don't put too much stock in it. I think the fans feel a certain way because you got a kid that left and they're rooting for their team. So I don't buy too much stock in it.
All right. Well, hey Tim, let's change the subject here now because with Larry being gone, the Oklahoma, they're obviously they're 10-6, but they're 1-4 in Big 12, or 1-3, I believe, in Big 12. They are a team that can hurt you. They play the other teams close to their losses. You talked about this team being 0-4, and you want to talk about intestinal fortitude, and you talked about Coach Gail Catlett. So go ahead. Bring it on.
I actually talked to Coach Catlett the other night. We talked back and forth about the season, what's happening. It was one thing that Coach Catlett always said. In our locker room, you have to have intestinal fortitude, and half the guys didn't know what that meant. So we would just turn around and say, "You got to play with guts." You come into our house at the Coliseum. First of all, it's the best place to play in the world with the fans we have and everything else, as well as the football stadium we have. I mean, gosh, we couldn't have more support. But someone comes into your house and you lose a game, you better do a checkup as far as having some serious guts that fighting at the end of the game and winning the game. I mean, when I was there, I think we had the longest home winning streak when I was there at back in 88, 84. But
Yeah, we beat it.
Oh, thanks, Daryl.
we had the longest win
know
streak in the
Daryl.
country. We beat y'all.
Daryl, you know the feeling. You come into the Coliseum, you expect to win. You know, and you do everything. You throw your body all over the floor. You do whatever you have to do to win. But you know, at the end of the day, I mean, you don't expect to lose at the Coliseum.
Yeah, it's a little different nowadays.
Tim, I totally agree with you, but I think that speaks on the culture of college basketball. That, like, these new kids, they're WVU, but they don't understand the pride of being a Mountaineer because they're all new. That there's no, and that's what I hate about the situation now.
You got 4 or 5 seniors that come from 4 or 5 different schools.
Yeah, so they have no clue of what it means to represent the state, and I think that's
run out on that carpet and run out on it. You know,
they don't. None of that matters.
It's a feeling that no one can experience. You know, and it meant a whole lot to me, and I don't know how it meant to you guys, but to run across that carpet, you know, to be a starter, you go out there and you play your heart out.
Well, it's funny.
We had, like, my senior year before we went on that big streak, we lost our first game to who was it? Robert Morris. Oh, you know what I mean? First home game. We lost the first home game to Robert Morris. Yeah. Played Mount St. Mary, and then we lost to Bradley at home. Both games at home. So me and Herbie, we called a team. We called a team meeting, and we started checking some people. Some stuff came out, and like, yo, we here. Like, we gonna win. Like this has got to stop. This is gonna stop. And that's when we went on our little 21, 22 game winning streak. You know, like Jared said, you're gonna see who is a leader, who's gonna get these guys together. Because me and Chris was willing to whip everybody's ass in that excuse my language, in the locker room, because that's what we had to do if we wanted to win. Because we wanted to win. We didn't care about looking pretty. We didn't care about how many points or rebounds and stuff we got. We wanted to go out there and beat people. So we go to Pitt and beat Pitt. We go to Maryland to beat Maryland. They got 3, 4 first round draft picks. We go around and stuff. You know, we ran through the league. You know what I mean? So, and like, that's what you got to do. Like, you look at the way they play, and you don't see nobody like, okay, I'm gonna punch somebody in their mouth. You know what I mean? If they have to. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, like Jared said, is this new group, but they want to look good on the Twitter. They want to look good on the phones. You know what I mean? Like, they want to look bad, so they don't give it their all like they're supposed to, or like they should.
Yeah, right. This damn social media is killing it. It really is. You're totally correct, Daryl. I mean, you go out there, you play with your heart, you play with your body, and do what you have to do.
Yep. Well, you know what? I don't want to sit here and be that negative bomb on the whole thing, because that is our culture that we live in today, and we got to find a way to work it. But what I did see in the game against Baylor, there's opportunities here where they're having ball movement and doing what, you know, Jay West, what you were talking about, doing some passing and really moving it. Let's watch it here. And if I can just there's the play button. All right, so you can see that they are coming in the paint and attacking the paint. Take it, Jay West, for me. Go ahead.
Well, I thought the other night we did show some glimpses of moving the ball, incorporating everybody, the right people having the ball certain times, making good decisions. It's just a situation where you like that's a good read. Yes, got them in a scramble mode, attack the paint. 3 or 4 passes, easy lob, score. We got to get to a situation where we consistently do that. And with this team, we've shown down the stretch, last 5 minutes of the game. See, this is 7:40. This is 8 minutes in the first half. So that's totally different than the last 5 minutes of the game, when it really comes down to execution, who should have the ball, when, where, how. And so if we can continually do this, consistently do this, like that's a great play. Toussaint made a good read. He was patient, putting pressure on the rim, but we got to consistently do that down the stretch in winning time.
All right, DP, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all about it's 3 or 4 people touching the ball. Yep. out of the 5, and the defense rotates. There's some penetration. There's on this play right here, you know. So Toussaint gets in the lane, creates havoc, throws it out. Another pass. Now Stevenson got it. guy stepped up. Before he would have shot that. He would
Yeah.
do something up.
So
And just like even Toussaint right here, when he gets in the lane and he throws it out, it's the same play. But like Toussaint would have threw a shut up at the beginning of the year instead of throwing it out. So it's minor. It's a minor thing, but they got to stick with it. And like Jared said in the second half, and that's what they're not doing. Stick with it. And now, so this is the stuff they should have been doing in December. So now it's it caught up with them. Now they got to go back to it, and it's kind of you're losing at the end of the games because these teams you're playing has one or two NBA players, and you got to play a certain kind of way when you play against top level talent.
That's right, Tim. And when you see that, because you all talked about it, that at the end of the game, that when they lost to Xavier, they just fell apart, or they weren't focused as a team. And so, Jay West, I'm saying that's right to your point. You should be doing this, right, Tim?
Well, Dale, like I said, I mean, if you look at these plays you're showing right now, look how they're spread out, and the way Toussaint is kicking out the ball, but he kicked out the ball and moved. They're spreading out the court. If you spread out the court, you're spreading out the defense, and that's what they need to do.
Right.
Yeah, I put on my Facebook page today about spacing, and it said offensive spacing and spacing is offense. And so we've been talking about that since the first time we got on the podcast. It's about spacing, and that was a great job of spacing with them.
Right, and I have a video where they don't actually have the great, but here on this video, you can see here. I'm going to start with you, Tim. Then go ahead. This is where obviously they were attacking, and you can see here that defensively what they were doing, right or wrong, and defensively. You saw Baylor attacking. Again, I got replays for all these, but they're just not defending. And man, how do you defend it, Tim?
Well, and I'm going to ask you, Daryl, too. I mean, back in days when I played, you cut a guy off. There's not enough. I mean, we used the baseline all the time to cut people off. Now they're just giving away the baseline as far as going in there, as far as defensively. I don't understand that. I had a discussion with Bobby Joe Smith a couple of years ago that, giving up this baseline. Is that a new defensive strategy now?
No. What I'm gonna tell you what happened. Like the first play when the guy drove, it was a high ball screen.
And I'll take it back for you.
Yeah, all the way right here. That's Emmett Matthews' fault. See, the screen was coming. You're supposed to push the man to the screen. That's what help was on the other side. So when he kind of looked and saw where the screen was, the guy took advantage of that and drove. Pitt used to do that with back in the days all the time. They used to refuse the screens. So that's what we call refuse the screen. And like right here, the guy got back. He just got beat backdoor. And Trey Mitchell, that's the ball which we talk about. You got to go get a 50-50 ball. Yeah. The ball was in front of him. Look, watch him just stand there. You see how he just reached down and he got to go after the ball. So it's just all small things. You know what I mean? It's just all small things. Right here, it's a double. We call that a double screen. The guy used a West Virginia player to help the screen, and that's how they got the lob.
Okay.
The big should have trailed him around. He should have just went towards the basket. So it's just all small technical stuff and fundamentals on defense that's not happening.
Yeah.
Well, then Jay West, let's go to this. This is in the perimeter here. Let me get it up. Okay, so now George, the freshman, scores 32 points, his highest. You go back to Kansas, they had the most three-pointers of the year. It's just the defense and the perimeter has not been going. Let me get it started for you, brother. Go ahead. What are you thinking about here? The defense, allowing the perimeter. You see the replay just coming up, not getting out there on time. Go ahead.
Same thing. As all of you guys know, you come in, you got a scouting report. Scouting report says we're not going to let A, B, and C happen. So I know at the top of the scouting report, we're not going to let George and Flagler get wide open threes. And you're looking, and that's just bad defense. That's guys getting stuck on screens. They're not getting on back hip and trailing. Like that just can't happen. Those two shots right there, that has nothing to do with coaching at all. That has to do with the players executing the scouting report. You can't look. He's hugging the screen. Get on the outside hip of George and it's trail the screen. And if he curls and dribbles to the paint, we got help. Look, they're trying to switch it off. He's getting caught on screen. I mean, that's just lack of effort, lack of execution. And you see the coaches over there all slam their hands down. And Larry's point, like they know, and that's just bad defense. That's bad execution. That has nothing to do with coaching. That's all.
Lack of focus?
No, it's just lack of will.
Sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Don't care. Winning getting that important. Like, I don't know. But I think that goes to the culture of you got 5 new kids in here coming in to play. And, I don't know. It just you if you don't have the culture, know what we're about, how tough you got to play to win. Like, that's just 6 easy points, and I don't know the final score, but those are easy points that should never happen.
Well,
the first one.
I'll tell you what, too. I mean, the scouting reports. I know back when I was playing, our scouting reports were like 45 pages. Okay.
Yeah.
And we had to go through them all. All right. And I get right back to the old Coach Catlett, intestinal fortitude. Play with guts,
Yep.
Get back out there and play, you own that court. If you don't understand the scouting reports, then you go ask the coach. Talk to the coach.
Well, they walk through that kind of stuff. And just like Jared said, you don't, like, a lot of them, if you watch them, when them guys guard them guards that run in their baseline, you should get on one side and push on one way, and you lock and trail. Their backs are turned to the ball.
Yeah.
So now the guys getting hit. The guys are going. They're going over the screen. They go under the screen. They create things. So this play right here, it was Matthews. Then Matthews get clipped and he dies on the screen.
Dies on the screen. Yeah.
Then on an out of bounds play, I hate to say this, but when I was at Georgetown, we played West Virginia in the Big East Championship. Greg Monroe was down the bottom. Austin Freeman was trailing the guy. He did the same thing that Matthews did. He pointed. And he pointed. Deshaun Butler came off that screen. He didn't lock and trail with him, caught the ball in the foul line area, and won the game on the last second shot. It was the same exact play. And, like, you see, like, Mitchell, like, oh, shit, now I got to get out there. So it's like, that's nothing over there because you saw the reaction of the coaches. That's not what we worked on.
Yeah.
That's not what we worked on. You know what I mean?
That's lack of communication and being lazy.
That's just being lazy.
All right.
The switching is trying to not play defense.
Hey, I got to get some business in here, okay? And I remember this time beforehand. So let's go. Parmar Stores, 5 different states. That is your convenience store, man. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be one soon. They are MHL's title sponsor. And, of course, Wilson Martino Dental. You know that most of their dentists, all of them except for one, are from WVU and WVU graduated. I'll tell you what, Wilson Martino Dental, right down your way there, Jay West. They will give you that beautiful
Martino,
smile.
Bobby
friend. Martino, you got David in the whole world. Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe that's why he sponsored this when you were coming on. And, of course, we got Dave. I'm not done yet. Hang on. Don't distract me. Dan Cava, Toyota World. All right. Shop the world, Danny Cava. We'll love you, man. And, of course, Country Roads Trust. Name, image, likeness for WVU. It's the NIL game, man. That's what it's about. And Country Roads Trust is there for Mountaineer Nation. Yes, Tim.
Yeah. What sponsor do you have that provides pepperoni rolls?
Hey, you know what? We're working on it right now because I'm getting kind of hungry. We're definitely working on them. But I want to get back to this because I've just has this intuition of what you guys were talking about, and I want you to go with this. Okay, with the basketball player, we're talking about spacing, we're talking about 50-50, and we're going to be talking about some pointing. But I want you to say, how can they turn this around? And it's moving now. There you go. All right, go ahead, Tim. Start it off, man. Here it is. The spacing is poor.
Actually, well, it kind of collapses a little bit there on the spacing, but their biggest thing is that we need to get our bigs involved more, to help open up the outside. Number one. Number two, we need to start hitting some damn free throws. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, we could have won at least 2 or 3 games if we just would have hit our free throws. The field goal percentage has been going down. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But like I said, I mean, that's my gut feel on the whole thing.
All right. Daryl.
Well, I'm looking at this clip. It's just like they ran the play. They got what they want out of it. They couldn't get the post up. He threw it out. Bell was coming to post, and it looked like somebody else came in front of him, and then got a little play. Then Mitchell tried to make a play, and these two guys are standing right beside each other.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, if Matthews would have went up to the 3-point line, I think it would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
And it leads to this shot right here.
Yeah. All right, so Jay West, go ahead, jump in. Tell me what you think.
So Baylor's playing a 2-3 zone, and I think this play is schematically. This is how Hugs likes to play. Hugs' 2-3 zone is very different than any zone 2-3 zone offense I've seen. But Hugs is built around offensive rebounding. So he puts 3 bigs in the paint against the zone, basically trying to play bully ball to put it on the glass, so we got people down there to offensive rebound. So I can't put this on the player. This is just WVU's 2-3 zone offense. I
also think it's like we said before, if you watch this whole play, the guards didn't move. They just stood there. So if you stand there, the defender's going to stand there. And then like when Matthews didn't go up to the 3-point line, it looked like it was a matchup zone. Now you got to cut through to see what they're doing. You know what I mean? And, they started off good. And just like, you got to have good starts in the offense to help. But then, like, it looked like once Mitchell got the ball, so that's when he tried to drive and then score. But the guard stood there, and it just, everybody's like, again, like what Tim said, 4 games ago, people just standing there watching. Yeah, it's just
okay.
It hurts.
So that's how they get better. Is they got to watch their spacing, and they got to go ahead.
That last video you had Matthews, I think, Deshaun or somebody else standing next to Matthews on the weak side when somebody's shooting the ball, and they're not cutting around someone getting in the middle to try to get a rebound. I mean, like I said, it's spacing not only on defense or offense, but they need to work on that.
All right. Jay West, 50-50, man. 50-50 right here. What is it about hustle? You were a hustler. You were, for ball control, you finished up almost 3-1 for assists to turnovers. That's a huge mark. That's called ball security. What do you got to do with 50-50 ball security to make sure you're getting your second and third shots besides rebounds?
I mean, that's hard. That's hard. That's anticipation, knowing where the ball is going to be. That's being the quarterback on the floor, which we talked about recently. This team, I like Keedy, I like Joe, but they're not true point guards. And it rears its ugly head in very inopportune times. Coach Catlett stressed ball security. I led the Big East in assist turnover ratio my junior and senior year because you got to value the basketball. 50-50 balls, like the one we saw Emmett earlier, you can't reach. You got to dive and get on the floor. First person to the floor is normally going to get the ball, or at least a jump ball. So, I mean, that's just heart and determination.
Yeah.
I don't know if those can be taught. That's just something you got to have. Or the coach, that's something that's got to be stressed. If you don't get the 50-50 ball, you got to come sit.
On this play right here, it's like, everybody's going to blame the big guy for not getting the rebound. Can you play it, Dale? But the ball didn't hit the rim, so it's hard. It's hard. He was down there battling. Dale, can you play that video?
You want to go back? All right.
Yeah, go back. Yeah. So he missed the rebound, right? So he was battling with the guy. The ball didn't hit the rim, so it's hard to rebound. This is the 50-50 play. He tipped the ball. Look at both of them. Both of them didn't go after the ball. They just stood there. I think Mitchell tipped the ball, and I think Toussaint just stood there. Both of them. Watch this. That's the play after.
Yeah, you gotta make your point, man.
Yeah.
No, that was a weak ass screen. First of all, you should have gotten around that screen.
No. That was a legal screen. He moved. But look over here on the right hand side. Look how this guy's hugged up on this man, and the ball's going the other way. Yeah. So that guy on the baseline should have went over here on the 2-man side, and he should have dropped.
Yeah.
So that's where the help should have came from.
All right, so watch this. Now here is this. This is the pointing. See Trey Mitchell with pointing. This is right here telling me 17:38 in the second half, and looking at it pointing. And when you start pointing, man, I know sports. When you start pointing at each other, miscommunication, lack of communication going on, you're not on the same page. Tim Tierney, what does that do for you when you can't communicate?
We never had that problem. I mean, when I played, we all talked to one another. But if you can't communicate, you're screwed. I mean, seriously. I mean, everyone has to work together. And like I said, I mean, Jared, you were talking about being a quarterback or whatever as a point guard. But all five guys have to be quarterbacks out there. Everyone's got to communicate with one another, and until that happens, you're going to have those problems.
One thing I know about this generation as a coach, they do not talk.
They do not talk.
They do what?
They do not talk.
That's because they don't have their phones with them texting.
Right.
They
don't talk.
So,
and I don't know
maybe they ought to have a little pocket or whatever for their phones so they can text each other.
No, it's just this generation. It's just like they don't talk to each other unless it's a phone, and
they don't know the importance of it either.
Right. We talk about how everybody's new, and that's why they don't know each other on offense is the same on defense. And Hug's been saying it since the beginning. We trying to get these guys to play my way, and it's still happening. It hasn't happened yet, and it's not that they're not doing it, they're not trying, or the coaches are not trying. You got 5 guys that play different ways and different terminologies for 4 years, 3 years somewhere else. Now they come here, it's probably a whole different thing, and they're just not used to playing that way. It's hard to change who you are at 21, 22 years old.
Okay, so we got to get to Oklahoma now. But before I do, Greg Christ, who's been a West Virginia coach for many, many years here, says a lot of teams force baseline to get the rotation started earlier so that teams can't get comfortable running their stuff. Teams who play on the line will force baseline to try to keep the ball on one side of the floor. The more times the ball travels, I think I ran out of room here, for the more, let's see, did he have it?
He's saying basically the more time
go ahead
you
with
swing the
that
ball from side to side, it causes breakdowns, which is totally correct. Like
Baylor's
Baylor's whole defensive scheme is to send you baseline so they can trap you and keep the ball on the strong side. So a lot of things are schematic.
Yeah.
Whereas Virginia, they want to push you middle because they play pack line. So it just depends on which team, but a lot of it is schematic on where they want to send the ball and where they want to force you to.
Yeah, excellent. Hey, Coach Chris, great observation, great point. Try to make it shorter so I can read them all. All right? Very good. And let's move to Kansas because Sherfield, who started off at Wichita State, 2 years at Nevada, and now he's there at Oklahoma, playing his way right on up, isn't he? It's kind of like going to single-A baseball, double-A, now triple-A, getting up there. Here he goes. He is scoring 17 points per game. You can see him here. He's just he's all over the place. He's averaging 3.5 assists. He's got 3 rebounds, 33 minutes a game. He is their team. Go ahead, Daryl Prue, start us off.
Yeah, he's a very good player. He's a talent. He can shoot it. He's not as dynamic as some we had before, but going strong right. He can make shots. He got to go over top. He'll get to the rim going both ways. He's just gonna be a load to deal with.
This is at the end of the half. Now he had 25 points against Kansas.
Yeah,
Jay West.
Yeah, no, he's good. He plays with confidence. He can shoot it. He's a kid, like you said. He's a kid that has a chip. He probably feels like he's been under recruited, undervalued. So, like you said, he's moving on up the chain, and he's trying to prove everybody that he's a Power 5 talent, and he's showing that. I think definitely the scouting report on him today is make him put the ball on the floor, make him finish over length at the basket. He's more comfortable creating space to shoot his jump shot. So the guards are going to have to smother him today and funnel him into the paint where he has to finish through and over length. But he's a very, very good talent. I like the Groves kid also too. So they have a lot of guys that have come up from mid-major to low major. So they all have a chip. And the coaches like that too. So they're the coach was at Loyola Chicago. So all of those guys have bumped up a few notches and trying to prove they're Power 5 worthy. So it's gonna be a dogfight. And traditionally, Oklahoma has had our number for the last 2, 3, 4 years anyway. So we got to go on the road today and try to figure out how to get a win.
Yep, go ahead, Tim. Watch this now. This is pretty good job here by Oklahoma's offense. Not just Sherfield. which I do believe that all starts with him. But you can see that they're moving around. You got the two Groves brothers there. They're averaging 30% of their offense, each scoring almost a little bit above 9 points per game. They got some good players. They have 4 seniors, 1 freshman. Milos, who's on the freshman number 12 there, and they got Jalen Hill, who also is a really pretty darn good athlete, very athletic.
Yeah, they all average in double figures almost, except for the point guard. And I mean, Milo's a freshman, but you got 4 seniors playing like seniors. We don't have 4 seniors playing like seniors. You know what I mean? That's a big difference. These guys and they like playing with each other. And they get the ball down low. They'll post up. They'll throw it to him. He'll score. If he don't have the score, he'll throw it out. This the team not looking for themselves. They're looking for each other.
Well, you got, like I said, you got Sherfield, number 1. I mean, he's obviously can shoot the ball. I mean, he's shooting over 45, 46% for 3 points line, as well as about 45% field goal percentage overall. But I mean, he is also leading the team in as far as where was it? Turnovers. So if we get him rattled, and get some turnovers out. I mean, I think you're right, Daryl, and also Jared, as far as pressuring him, as well as the Groves brother. We need to. I mean, it depends on what we do in the paint with these guys.
There's no doubt. Now, when you go ahead, Dean.
It is going to be a dogfight. I mean, Jared was right. This is going to be a dogfight down there in Oklahoma.
I mean, this is a game where we could score down low, but you see, like every time we talk about us, we talk about spacing. Look at the spacing. There's always one guy in the post, and guys are cutting or driving and throwing it into the post, and he's throwing it, catching it later. Just drives to a catch in the post. There's a post. He's in there by himself. They double. He throws it out. There's patience. There's a lot of different things that going along with it. And we just we're gonna have a problem. Because these guys are going to keep throwing it down. Their bench is not bad. And, if the guy Sheffield gets going, he's a big-time problem.
Well, here, you're looking at what? You're going to see now the perimeter attack here. That you see the 3-pointers out, kicking it out. Jay West, talk about that and the follow-up. I mean, they're just very active, very athletic on there.
Yeah. I mean, they do a very good job of space. I think so. It's funny when we talk about our spacing. Once again, I think that's more schematically from Hugs is a defensive-minded coach and rebounding. So he wants a lot of people in the paint for us so we can get offensive rebound. And in years past, that's been our best offensive rebounding. So I think some of that is schematically, whereas opposed to other teams in the country are moving to 4 out, 1 in, open sets where the paint is always open, drive and kick for threes. So we're going to have to play in space. Like both of the Groves boys are stretch fours. So our bigs are going to have to play defense today in space and move around and have good ball screen rotations because this team can shoot it when they get their feet set. And once again, like I said, they've had our number for the last 2 or 3 years. They know how to play us. So we got our hands full. Yeah,
like going back to the Hugs thing about, the double post stuff. Mitchell is more like this, the player of this time, so because he can go inside and out. Before you had Gabe and Culver, they both got in each other's way.
Yeah.
But I think this group right here, you get it in and get it out. I wish Bell shot it a little better. It would make him more dangerous. But you want our guys to play similar to the teams we've been playing against, and also, it goes back to guard play. It just got to get some better guard player, or might say a playmaker.
Decision making.
Yeah, to make it easier for the guys.
Yeah, I get right back to as far as Toussaint and also Seth Wilson too. I mean, it's those 2 guys come off the bench because we really have to put some pressure up against their guards. And hopefully Eric Stevenson, he shows up today and doesn't do anything stupid.
Yeah,
Wait a second. You had Eric Stevenson the entire time.
That was his boy.
Yeah, what was your boy?
Well, Tom stopped grabbing his crotch And so he doesn't get a technical like he did the other game.
Hey, so Tim,
Listen, I don't mind him grabbing his crotch if he
he's making shots, right?
Yeah,
Right,
I told you I'm not gonna be clean all the time. Okay.
Tim,
Yeah,
going back,
Stevenson was your boy. That's what I'm
he
saying.
was his boy. So Tim, going back to what you said.
And play some damn basketball.
Yeah. So going back to what you said about pressure, when you playing against these high level guys, that pressure don't bother them as much as you play against a Navy and some other these teams. Like this Big 12, they got some high level guards. And they seen that stuff all their life. And the little bit of pressure that we doing now is not going to bother them. I don't think when Jared was a guard, when he was at West Virginia, a lot of pressure bothered him because he was a high level guard. So these guards we seeing from now on in the players, because even the wings in the Big 12 are very good ball handlers and playmakers. So they don't get rattled like some of these other schools, So we can't rattle them. So it makes us look bad because we trying to play all this defense. They're just driving by us and creating havoc for us on defense.
Right. All right. So, Tim, let's do it. Let's talk about it. What's the overall game plan, especially with Larry Harrison and all this stuff happening? What do these guys got to do to get fired up, to get up, to win this game?
Score more points than Oklahoma.
What a lead into that. Thank you very much for that.
Like I said, I'll get back to it. Go down there and play your damn hearts out, and don't leave anything on the floor. I mean, go after it. They can win this game, but they're going to have to do a lot of things as far as shutting down. As far as the guards there at Oklahoma, and overall, like I said, I'm to a point now. I'm getting so pissed off that I see the guys that just let people go on defense. And there's no help. I know, Daryl, you're laughing your ass off right now, but that's how I feel. I was so frustrated watching that damn Baylor game. I was cussing at the TV, yelling and screaming.
I will tell you this.
Wait
a minute, no, we got to get Jay West. He's got to get a shot in first. Jay, go ahead and tell us how you wrap this up. Put it in a sweet package present with a bow tie victory.
Most importantly, we got to compete at a high level today on the road with all the disarray and adversity we've dealt with the last few days. We got some leaders going to have to step up and lead and compete. From a schematic and scouting report standpoint, we got to play in space because they play an open offense. We got to obviously keep eyes on Sheffield and Groves. We can't let their two bigs score combined 40 points. We got to make other people make shots, and then we got to have some people step up. We got to get Stevenson playing like he was. We got to get Mitchell the ball more. Emmett's got to get more involved. Our big time players got to go on the road and compete and make big time plays. That's how you win on the road in any conference, any division. Your big time players got to come in and compete.
All right, DP, good job, both you two. No, DP, go ahead.
Yeah, we had scouting reports before, and this is a time you got to play together. You don't play for Larry, you don't play for such. You got to play for yourself now, and no coach should tell you to be motivated, even though it's going to be a tough situation right now to try to be motivated because everybody's all they're getting texts, they're getting calls. What happened to Coach Harrison? What happened to Coach Harrison? So now all those distractions are coming in. All right, scheme-wise, they got a lot to deal with. They got to go inside and out. With the Grove brothers and Sheffield, they got to deal with all that, and they can't get in foul trouble, especially Mitchell and Bell, because when we get to the bench, we don't have nobody like Mitchell. We don't have nobody like Bell. Muhammad's doing a good job on a defensive end, but then then offensively we have to do a much better job of taking care of the ball, just like Jared said, getting guys better shots, working as a team. Guys got to step up and do their part and just keep moving the ball around the whole game. Just don't do it the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes of the game and expect that's going to work, but it's not working in the second half. On the road, you gotta execute. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Daryl, just a thought too. Would it help to shake it up a little bit on defense, throw a couple zones at them?
I've been saying that all year. I mean, yeah. I think what happens is they can't press like they want to because they don't have the depth. So you can't go to the bench and say, I can play 10 people because you don't have guys that can play that, play at a high level yet. So that's why I think they've been sticking with the man, like half-court man. I'm all for the zones and, junking it up a little bit because I just think, the man is not working. You got to do something else.
I agree. To shake it up.
If the zone don't work, you just got to, just keep mixing it up and make the other team think and just go instead of just going.
Okay, so we got to close this up, and I'm going to tell you this. Can I have a little more Seth Wilson, please? Can we get him out there and get him going where he feels comfortable that he's not going to get yanked? Give him a little bit more, 4 to 5 minutes when he comes through at some really critical times, and he did against Baylor as well. But I've been watching that I've been noticing since Buffalo that he's been making some plays when he gets the opportunity. And for that to be said, guys, I want to thank you very much. Let's get a victory against Oklahoma. They're going to have to pull together, and they got to just work as a team, man. Just be a team. All right?
True.
All right, fellas. Thank you, and we'll see you hopefully next time. And this is Mountaineer Hardcourt Legends, and we thank for our sponsors. You got Dan Cava Toyota, Parmar Stores, Wilson Martino Dental, and Country Roads Trust. We'll see you on the other side. Let's go, Mountaineers.
All right.
Let's go.
No matter the odds, I will answer a call. The enemy knocks on the door. Even the greatest among us will fall, but the greatest will get back up. So I won't back down, and I won't give up, and I will act now, and I will stand up. They know that I'm here for it all. Rise up, no matter what's in my way. Rise up, I will do what it takes. I will keep on fighting. I'll rise through it all. Rise up, no matter what's in my way. Rise up, I will do what it takes. I will keep on fighting. I'll rise through it all. Rise up.
No matter what it is you need, you'll find it at your local Parmar store. From gas to grocery, snacks, and everything else you always seem to run out of, Parmar Stores has it. Need more savings? Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. You won't only see our stores in your neighborhoods, you'll see us in your neighborhoods too. We are proud to be in your town and proud to be a part of the community. Come see us at Parmar Stores, and remember, if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Wilson Martino Dental. Did you know that 95% of our dentists have graduated from WVU? And many former players and WVU coaches trust Wilson Martino Dental with their oral health. The Mountaineers and Wilson Martino Dental. Yeah, we do that.